Thank you so much for being on today. Kung Fu Bao. If
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
can you introduce to yourself to the audience, please?
Oh, my name's Edward Pratt. I'm a martial art and Tai Chi coach.
Okay. Um, how long did you practice Tai Chi?
Whew. On and off, I'd say it's going close to 10 years, a little bit more. I got into Tai Chi more because one of my instructors told me if I wanted to be a good fighter, which was many moons ago, when I was getting into sparring and fighting. So if you want to be a real good fighter, you need to practice Tai Chi. And I got into Tai Chi, and even though the focus was not really there then, it was more my kung fu and getting understanding fighting. But but when I look back, the Tai Chi actually influenced the way I fought because I was more I did a lot of countering. I attacked, but I fed off the energy that somebody came at me. So looking back, I realized how quietly it influenced my fighting style, you know. And
Okay.
then most recently, I really started trying to understand it more, study it more, and understand the principles and the energies beyond what it was. So, yeah.
Okay. How do you know Lester? Because he's one of I used to go to Kung Fu school, and he's one of the instructor in Kung Fu place or in Maryland.
Oh, okay. So I take it your Hong Fort brother.
Well, I used well what ha- yeah well I used to go to on foot, but what happened is I end up had to leave for boarding school. I even though it was at that time I was a kid,
Which year was this?
huh?
Which year?
Well, let me say 2000. What was it? 2006, 7, 8. I was in high school then, so maybe 2000. So I entered boarding school maybe 2008, maybe 2007, 2008.
Okay, okay. You missed me. You missed me about 2 years. I stopped going there. I lost my father at the time, and that was a very emotional, traumatic time for me. Actually, this was back in 2004. And I went back like 2006, and life happened. I took a break and work. Actually, I'd stopped practicing martial arts. I was done, you know. But it was always in me anyway. So after working and years of working and working for somebody else, I was like, I'm not passionate about this. And one day I used to drive about an hour 45 minutes to work. I used to go to different stores to open stores and all that, managing. And so I had a lot of time to think. And I was like, yo, no, what do I enjoy? What am I passionate about? And I was passionate about Kung Fu. I was passionate about, this newfound thing. Actually, my cousin wanted to learn how to do Tai Chi, and I knew an old instructor, Dr. Tim Lee, who got me to Tai Chi. If he was able to get a 19-year-old doing Tai Chi at the time, I never fathomed doing that. That was like too slow and too boring at the time. But he wanted to do Tai Chi, and I said, "Oh yeah, go." People would say, "I wanted to do Tai Chi." I'll send him to go see this guy. Then one day I was like, I'm sending all these people to go to these places, and I'm sitting here at home getting fat because I didn't want to wake up in the morning and go practice. So one day I decided to get up and go practice, and I was like, oh, and did the first exercise on Juan, and the love of kung fu and everything came back. So all the stuff I learned in Hong Fut just came back, and it just came. Once in a while, some things hit me, and I'm like, oh, I gotta practice that. From handset to weapons. What I can remember, I don't remember. I'll be honest, I don't remember everything per se, but The little things that I do remember, it's, every day something comes to me. I'm like, oh, I remember this application. Oh, there. So it's constantly in my mind. It's constantly part of what I do. Now, even though you're not supposed to do this, like when you're learning something new, or you're trying to understand something, and you like, oh, like the Taoist principles, that manifest in the practice, and they, to some, not all, or certain aspects are parallel to the Buddhist principles. You know what I mean? And then you start saying, oh, well, I did this in Kung Fu. Oh, this was the reason. And you start looking at energies. But it's quite an interesting journey, you know?
Thank you so much for sharing that. I was like trying to make a connection. I remember back in the day, what was it, the 13 techniques and the short form, the first form, and then I really didn't like the second form was hit me the hardest because you have to do the low horse stance without
Yeah. Yes.
broad swords, right? I was like, come on, but I like the first one. I like the sorry. I like the first one because it was so fast. Like you had to do like for testing, you have to do it fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Um.
That's, I still love first form. I still remember that. I still, when I practice it now, I do it differently. 13 techniques is the Hong Kong system. Did you know that?
Well, they they said they switch. They took some. They changed it over the years. Is that true?
I just took some kick towards the end. They took the major kicks out because a lot of people, bunch of people were hurting themselves. But if you look at the first four techniques, right? The first four techniques, I think the Futka side, and the other four are the Honga side, and then the remaining techniques are the kicks within the system.
That makes sense. Okay.
Right, right, because the first side is the, even though we did the 13 techniques really fast, if you look back, it's open hand. That's a Futka influence. And then,
They had the eagle wing, right? Because I would still remember the
correct, that's still open hand.
ah.
And then the last techniques where it's guakup chumpao and chop, closed fist, hungar.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last one are the kicks.
No, they had the what was it? And what was it? Oh crap! I know the 13 technique is so easy to remember, but the one thing that I really love the second form because they had the crane. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, I love those. But you were right though. Like when I remember back in the kung fu school days, they were doing what was it? I think it was the New Year, right? And then they were celebrating, and they were doing the Tai Chi form. And you were right. At that time, I think that kids wouldn't be like interested because it was way too slow. But
Right.
but then when you like go deep in a little bit, you see that there's useful application because you said you use it for fighting. Can you explain for that one?
Oh, the Tai Chi fighting?
Yeah, because we never like I remember back then we never talk like in the kung fu school they never actually you never hear about it. Maybe they talk about it. I never hear about it.
Right, right, right. Well, my journey in Tai Chi right now is to understand the fighting aspect of it. It's got a lot of health benefits. Everybody knows that. But the it has a very combative aspect. But it's, from the research that I've been doing and things that I've been looking up and understanding, all of this martial arts was per se originally started from one same place, sort of, kinda a principle. And one of the key things for me, that I realized in all martial arts, especially Kung Fu and Tai Chi, that there's one practice we ignore, and it has all the answers in there. That is Zhang Zhuan, standing in horse stance and like hugging a tree, right? To me, anyway, that particular practice embodies, because not only are you standing, but you have to be centered. And the only time we realize that we're centered, we always hear people in sports, oh, he's in a zone, man. He couldn't do anything. That's because that person is breathing right, he's centered, and he's not worrying, he's just present. So anything that happens, he has an answer for it. One of the mistakes I see a lot of fighters do, including myself, which I'm one of the things I'm working on, is we try to do too much, right? You see it a lot in MMA when the guys are fighting. They're trying to take somebody out with one punch. So there's all this tension in their shoulders and all. No, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And when you see that and understand how these guys go around doing it, because they have this intention to destroy. But if you have, it's not easy to do. But if you can stay centered and you connect with the other person as one unit, whatever they do, you can sense.
That's incredible. So you can be able to sense other people energy as you engage.
Correct. In fact, you're supposed to engage before contact.
With your energy? What do you mean by that? Can you go deeper?
So when you face up with somebody and you're about to go, you want to, I don't use the word project, but for lack of a better term, to just keep things simple, you expand your energy to encompass the other person. You connect with that person, right? So when you connect with that person, you and that person in sync. Even though you have opposing ideas, he wants to pound your head in, you want to pound his head in. But it's a difference when you're in sync with somebody else, you connect with them energetically, you can sense them. Which is one of the practice you have sensing hands in Tai Chi. You have what they call it, sticky hands in Wing Chun, Roshu and Bagua. Every system has this hand sensitivity training. Because if you're there and I'm here, we're far away from each other, there's no contact.
Right.
The moment we step to one another and touch, guys, keep it down, please. I'm on the phone. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
The moment we touch, whether you kick, we touch, that's you have the different distances, kicking range, punching range, and grappling range, right? So for people who do Tai Chi and Kung Fu and all that, the grappling range is not grappling range, the striking range. You, for you to grapple me, you got to come within a certain distance. If I let you, good luck. You know what I mean? Um, but with proper training, proper execution, a lot of guys bank on taking hits to come in. Sports wise, you can do that. In the streets, you can't. Okay. Um, there's a reason people train strikes, breaking bricks, the hands dropping down for a reason. So if you're gonna shoot whatever and you come low and you expose your back, I'm attacking your vertebrae. Sorry. That's if we're in the street. Once I sever your vertebrae with a good palm strike or knuckle fist or fist punch to your spine, good luck with that. In the ring, it's different. We can't do that in the ring, right? But the different answers are different ways to do it. So, but back to what I was saying. So, you have your range, the sensitivity training. When you connect with somebody, when they move a certain way, you can sense it. So you practice slow to be familiar with the energies of movement, contact, and then but it happens in a second. So once you have that awareness, so when somebody throws a punch real fast, when you block it a certain way, you're already connected to that person. In fact, you can tell when somebody's about to punch before they punch. You have preemptive strikes. So, oh, it's about to punch. Pop! I punch you first. Bam! Before you punch me. All right, that solves that. Or as you're punching, I'm punching you. Or you punch and I get out the way, and as you're retracting, then I come in and attack you. which usually most people are open. There are all kinds of things you can do with that. You know what I mean? But you already sense the person before they already move. But for you to be able to do that, you have to be calm and breathing right and relaxed. Because when you're tense, you don't feel anything. Your muscles are locked. But when you hold your structure and you breathe and relax, you can feel much better.
The
Does
analogy.
that answer that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm trying to connect. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I was that gives so much answer. It's like, have you watched Bruce Lee? Like, there was the old video with Jason Scott Lee in it, and where he was in the where what was it? What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. Where he was in the hospital, and his it was a movie, and then Linda he was creating a book, and you know how like when people punch they tense up. It's almost like
Right,
when you where they punch up and then they try to punch. But I took what in the movie said, you don't clinch too tight, just relax the hand and then punch, right?
right,
Right.
right.
Because I remember back in, I was trying to go to back in the karate. I want to see what's the difference between karate and kung fu, right?
Hmm.
He's like, it was the first one. He's like, wow, a lot of people tense, but I'm just relaxed. So, but yeah, you're right. Thank you so
If you
much.
look, if you look at a higher level of karate masters, you see a different type of power. You don't see the tension you see with beginners. One thing I was very fortunate to see was when I saw the years ago I went to a tournament in San Francisco, which I got a chance to see all the old masters, and they had to do a demonstration, and you can see the power coming out from them, but they seemed very relaxed, right? So the Eastern philosophy is different from the Western philosophy, right? The Western philosophy of boxing is always tension, muscles, and power, right? But that's holding your energy in. For you to be able to move faster, you have to be relaxed. I ran track, right? I ran track, and so one of the things I learned in running was even though you want to move fast, if you relaxed enough, you can move faster, right? Even in punching, when you want to punch fast, you have to relax. Punch, the back, boom, you punch fast. You know what I mean? And seeing Sifu doing his form was incredible to see him move at such a speed. It was like, whoa. And over the years, as one practice, you start getting an understanding. Because at first we want to show power, we want to show strength. We're like, "Ugh! Ugh!" And I remember once, and he gave me. I remember, I'll never forget this. He gave me an analogy. I was doing which form was I learning? I think it was tiger leopard. It's one of the more advanced forms. And tiger leopard is the way I was doing it was I wanted to say I was all about power, showing my power. I even when I was doing lion dancing one time, he came up to me and said, "Don't break my lion." Because he was, I was like, "Oh, yeah." My thing was always about power and strength, but there's a different type of strength. So I was doing my form, and he told me, he said, there was he gave me a story which made me realize there's a different type of power, and the type of power that I was using was not the correct one. And the type of power is almost like you have the strong. I'll break the story down. He told me, he said in the village there was a strong man, he could carry a calf. That's how strong he was. But the calf got stuck in a hole, and they had to pull the calf out of the hole. So he grabs the calf by the tail and yanks. Of course, you don't do that. That's the wrong type of power to use to save the calf. You don't just grab the calf by the tail and pull it. You destroy the calf. So, and the villagers got mad at the guy for doing that. So when he gave me that story, I said, "Oh, so you can have softness and still get the job done." And once I got that, that's where speed set to manifest for me. Still working on it. But yeah.
Thank you. I was thinking about Since you're into also like the Tai Chi, it's on what was it the you watch a lot. You have also I think you also watch what was it Tai Chi Masters and Tai Chi, right?
The movie?
Yeah, the movie. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, with Jet Li, you talking about?
yeah, with Jet Li and what was it Wu Jing in
Right.
it. And then what do you like think about it? Like you think that's the correct way to do Tai Chi? Well, in term, I know it's for show, but are there some like
I'll be honest with you. I'm not qualified to say all of that. But it gave me insight. A movie, movies, no matter what genre, really, there's this little truth in movies, And I borrowed a lot of things. I'll tell you a little secret. I borrowed a lot of well, it's not a secret anymore after I tell you, but I borrowed a lot of things from Shaw Brother movies. I almost broke my body in half because of trying to emulate Shaw Brothers, not knowing they were using ropes and all that. But I learned the hard way. That was one. I almost ripped my legs in half trying to do splits and pull them back up. But also, there's this one technique I saw in, I think it was Shaolin versus Ninja, I believe, with Gordon Liu. And there's a thing where the guy goes to kick him in the groin, and he just brings his. I know how to do different types of blocks for the groin. Now you stand a certain way, but he pulled his foot up to his knee to create a bridge. So if you try to kick him in the groin, he just brought his foot by his knee and they blocked the kick. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna have to use that. So there's some gems, if you know what to look for, there's some gems you'll find in those movies because some of those movies were choreographed by actual true martial artists. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of stuff is fantasy, but for every embellished story, there's a little bit of truth in there. That's what I say.
that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I was I was thinking about because I have an image right. There's also bakwa. Like, what's the like? Well, I'm asking like, you ever get into bakwa? Because the Tai Chi is the inner kung fu stuff, right? It's the soft style, while the what was it Hung Gar is the hard style, right? And Hung Fut. And so, what do you think about that? Since you're doing like learning Tai Chi.
I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn. What do I think about Bagua? I find it very interesting. Maybe someday I'll get to learn it. You know what I mean? So far, what I'm learning in Tai Chi is a lot. Just when I think I'm making some progress or getting um, close to an idea, that I find out there's more stuff, it's deeper levels. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good journey. It's a good journey as far because really it's dealing with the man in the mirror. You know what I mean? Finding out who you are, and you know and some of these practices bring up certain emotions that probably you had or buried since childhood, right? So a lot of the what's the word I'm looking for a lot of people, a lot of us, a constituency of who we are is based on that child, that inner child that many of us have locked away. A lot of experiences that we had in childhood, growing up, fears, disappointments, and achievements, so on and so forth, is what defines who we are to some degree. And some of us who haven't really put a finger on it, these type of practices allow you to go back and uncover those things and see them for what they are, which is where I think the meditation piece comes into, right? And I think that aspect of it, of all martial arts, meditation is key. Nobody really focuses on it. I'm not consistent with it, but a few times the few times I did that consistently, I saw consistent progress. You know what I mean? In my practice, making it consistent is hard. You know, I got children to deal with and family, and trying to make things happen. As you can hear in the background, but hopefully I'm trying to get it together so I can impart that knowledge to them. You know what I mean? But it's also still me unraveling, unpacking, and getting to understand what I do. I'm like a kid in a candy store, you know, because the more you get into it, it's like in a pool. You're in the 3 feet water, and you keep swimming, and you get into deeper waters,
Oh,
and you look down, and you see the depth. Do you panic? See, when you just started swimming, when you know you get into when the pool starts going deeper and the flow of the pool is slanting away, you swim back the other way because you're not confident in your skill or what you know. So you go back to the shallow end where you can stand safely. And over a period of time, one day you just do it. You go across confidently, and you come back. So, but the knowledge is deep, man, and it's it's interesting. You have Chen style, you have Yang style, you have Wu style. Each one similar but focus on different things. I have this book called Tai Chi Classics, which I'm supposed to be reading. I think I only had the first two chapters. I haven't jumped back on it. But one of the key things I like to do is certain things that I practice. I like to test it, right? And I think testing it makes you sound on what you learn. When I used to fight, when I was at the kung fu school fighting, like certain elements in the form, I try it, and I wouldn't try it on somebody I can beat or I knew I was better than. I tried it on someone on my level or better, which to me was risky because if I didn't get it right, I paid the price. But it made me. It really when I was sparring and trying that, and no, I didn't always get it. It failed, but I'm like, and I asked my question. I'll ask the question, why didn't this technique work? Then I revisit it and look at it, and then one day it comes out, boom, ah. Sometimes it comes out when you least expect it, when you're not thinking about it. All those times you're doing form continuously, it's getting into your subconscious. It's being part of your movement. Even though you do it one side, but if it comes, as long as you understand what you're doing and you're paying attention to it, one day it might come the other side and you'll do it the other side. Oh, that's that technique. Oh, wow. Boom. Now you really understand it. So I can tell people if I want, I can fight tiger, I can fight crane, whatever, but it's an art, it's your expression. Everyone does a form differently based on the elements or the forms they like better.
what form you like better?
I think the last form I was at the time. I think it was tiger leopard. I liked that was because that was a crazy form to do. Tiger leopard was just you see somebody do it well. What comes to mind is like this guy just went off. There's 20 people and they're all gonna get dealt with in the worst way, and you put him in the middle, and he just almost like a Tasmanian devil just let loose. And when he's done, all you see is just carnage all around. What happened here? He went off. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. What you said, right? We all have that inner child, right? And we locked it away. And what I noticed through interviewing a lot of people, especially higher level up, they love to have fun. They don't lock their inner child away. They don't hide who they are. And most of the world hide who they are. And they say, "Oh, you can't do that," like that. And what fascinating what you say is so true and so powerful. And I hope that a lot of people watch this, you know, they, my messages don't hide who you are, right?
We
So
can't. That's why it's an art, and the art is an expression of us, the essence of you, what you understand. Um, so you do force form, I do force form, and we're both gonna do it differently because there's certain techniques in force form that I like that you may not like, and that some or you may prefer that I would not focus on. You know what I mean? We do it. We both, and that's how styles develop. But that's what makes it the art. Because what I used to draw, and it took me a long time to realize what art was. In fact, it got to the point where I stopped drawing, and I wish I hadn't done that because I was very good at drawing. Okay, but I have a friend who kept it up. He teaches art and all that. He's got his degree in that, but I was talking to him, and what I finally found out after all these years was this. I used to always when I was doing architecture back in the day, and we had a drawing class, and I'll draw stuff, but I look at somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's incredible. It's an incredible artist, right? But I don't think my drawing is good enough. But then somebody else looks at my drawing and is like, oh my goodness, Ed, wow, that's very good. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what? It took me a long time to realize how good I was. But there's an energy behind what you do, which makes me start to understand calligraphy. When I used to look at calligraphy, I'm like, what are these guys doing? They're just doing markings, whatever, whatever. I didn't understand that. I just thought it was some guy on a piece of paper with a brush and he painted it and called it a day. While people were ranting and raving over this. Until I started understanding energy, I'm like, oh, it's the energy that manifests in the strokes that creates what that is. You see the word, and because of the energy that the artist put in it, it resonates from that drawing or from that calligraphy or from that picture, from that artwork. There was energy put in it. There was an art show in Virginia. I've forgotten what it was called. We went there anyways. All these artists put their work out there, and each room you went, you saw the display. You can sense the energy of certain people. You know what I mean? There's some people who are very disturbed. And some people, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm like, really? And then there's some people who you can tell their artwork. You walk in the room and you feel this dark looming energy, and I'm like, yeah, let me get out of here. I don't like what I'm feeling in here. And other people, simple drawings, but the energy resonates. So I'm saying all of this to say art is representation of the energy you bring forth. If you're depressed and not down, it will reflect in your work. If you're happy and excited and motivated and inspired, it will reflect in your work. If you do a form and you're not feeling good, it will manifest in the movements and how it looks from somebody watching it. If you feel in the energy, it will resonate differently. And that's where I think we kind of get lost that you'd see a Picasso, you see work by Picasso, you see work by Monet, you see work by Salvador Dali or whatever Dali, right? These are all three different styles, but they're all great artwork. And each all has a resonance within it that when you see it, it's like, whoa, that's incredible. You see this guy's stuff, is like, whoa, that's incredible. But they're all different styles. But they're all manifesting different, they're all good artwork, they're all manifesting different energy. So when you realize that, you're like, oh, we're all unique in our own way, in our own representation. So we have to stop comparing ourselves with others or saying, for me, for a long time, I was like, I didn't feel I was good enough. Yeah, people tell me, man, he's good. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not good enough, you know? And when I look at my Sifu at the time, I'm like, I'm not even close. I'll never be close. But as I say, there are different levels. One day I'll get there if I'm consistent and persistent, you know what I mean, with the journey. I'm not gonna get there now, but my own expression is I have something to bring to the table, something to share. So I share that from an artistic point of view with not because the woman who start looking, oh man, I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? Then you feel you're not good enough. You'll never embrace that understanding of what it is. You got to start somewhere. But once you see that and you bring the expression, like Bruce Lee said, you got to be expressive. You saw that interview, yeah, right? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then it manifests. You know. So that's how I look at it, man. The art of it. That's why I was very upset when that guy got beat up by yeah, I know you saw the video when the Tai Chi guy got beat up by
Yeah,
that
right?
brute.
No, no, yeah, the fighter, yeah. No, but there's another video that I got upset with because I really like Wing Chun. Like, it's I think
Uh-huh.
simple because over the years I transitioned. I mean, it was an idea that my friend planted in my head as a child. What was it? Maybe like 13 or something, and I started playing with Wing Chun. But there's so many applications to Wing Chun and Hung Foot because over the years I checked out where if we do like the 13 technique with this, we can just do a circle hand. But that's just in my mind. I'm playing with the idea, right?
Want to
Any
hear something funny?
hmm,
There was a time when I was in college, I took a break from Hong Fort. I wasn't going to the school, so I went to the library. I picked up a Wing Chun book, and I was practicing all the Wing Chun stuff.
oh,
But when I go back to the school and I completed second form and seeing the bong sao and the this and that, I'm like,
oh yes.
oh. Then I realized the similarities they would have because they're both southern systems. So some of the basic principles are the same because it comes from Shaolin. It's just that they go linearly and but technically at an advanced stage, all this stuff is angles, but at advanced stage it's energy. It's not as we see it. Or it's not as it's that's what I'm beginning to gather now.
You know, this whole interview that we talk, it's all like when you talk about energy, right? Now, in the Western world, we think energy is like weird, right? Woo woo, right? But in the Eastern world, they don't think it's weird at all. Like,
No, it isn't.
people get this concept because I used to read like the Qigong empowerment, and it's very ingrained with the culture, right? And because also, do you also cultivate the spirituality aspect into the martial arts too?
I'm trying to get there. That's 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 a high level stuff because there are different stages, as you know. You have the physical, you have the energetic. Energetic is the emotion, and emotion is the mental. From the mental is the psychic, I believe. From psychic to karmic, and then I guess the true essence. So you have like seven energy bodies or eight energy bodies, I think, if I remember correctly. Right? I've been known to be wrong, but that's a lot of stuff to deal with. Most practitioners are stuck in the physical stage. Okay. I have a practice partner, and Kung Fu brother that I used to train with, and um, and I know a lot of techniques. I used to technique out the yin yang, whatever. And we were playing around one time, and he was just dealing with me energetically, and I kept losing. I couldn't overpower him. I couldn't overpower him. I couldn't get the better of him. But I was glad I had that experience. I'm like, huh, my techniques weren't working. So I started trying to cultivate my chi, which still needs plenty of cultivating. But
Yeah.
it's it's hard, man. Internal work. I think internal training is much harder than external training. You know what I mean? Because you really got to deal with the inside and get the mind involved and not just get distracted and all that kind of stuff. But once I started understanding the energies and started using it myself within what I was doing technique wise for the minute for the little understanding that I've attained, I'm like, oh, it's a big difference. You know, like we'll do tiger, we'll do crane, whatever. But if you just listen, it's empty, it's not filled with some sort of energetic component, it's dead, right? But if it's tiger and it's filled with intent or energy, feel it's a different manifestation. It's full, right? So when you strike or boom, it's filled with energy. It's a different. You give people problems. In fact, people are like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this guy. Please forgive me for ruffling up your feathers. Let me put it back down, sir. You know, but really, truly, it's just being a better person. Like I said, it's the man in the mirror. It's I love fighting. I love the combat aspect of stuff and getting understanding of it. Do I want to go out there and hurt people? No. You know what I mean? Um, that's not my thing. I enjoy teaching, sharing. That's that, and exchanging stuff. But for me to go out there and nah, that's not my thing, man. But you come my way, we'll dance. That's all I can say. Hopefully that's not the case. You know what I mean? But if it happens, it happens. I can get popping too. You know what I'm saying?
You know, one thing out of all these like this interview, I love your energy, man. You're like, you got a sense of humor, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to take my show on the road. I'm just working on material right now.
Man. Ooh, whew, thank you, man. No, but and also for the because I never got into the fighting aspect. Since you're a fighter, how can we, as a kung fu or martial artist, become a better fighter, training or sparring or whatever we do? How can we become better?
Do it. You got to spar. You got to do the fight. You got to do the thing. You got to fight. I'm a little up there to continue that type of practice, to be honest. But I only do it now to just get a better understanding of the energies in Tai Chi principles. There's still some things I'm still working on and trying to get a better understanding. So I'm putting myself in the gauntlet, on the fire, on the hot waters to understand it and experience it as well, and realize where the disconnect is, where the mistakes are. You know what I mean? And fix. I've always been that way. You know what I mean? The other practices I'm trying to engage in to help build and cultivate that, to get to that point. But as fighting, you got to fight. You got to actually put the gloves on and spar. Um, a lot of people, if you're worried about getting hurt, then technically when you're sparring, you don't want to go 100%. You know what I mean? But when you fight, you want to try some things. With obvious, of course, you don't throw caution to the wind, but you don't want to hurt your partner, or else if you hurt your partner, you don't get a new one. You know what I'm saying? I have a friend I mistakenly kicked many moons ago, And there was like a spinning tornado kick. Those are days when I used to like doing jump spin kicks and all that. And I caught him in the shoulder here, and he never sparred with me again. I apologized like thousand. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to. You know, it was a mishap, miscalculation. But whatever he felt, he didn't want to feel it again, and he refused to spar with me. So that was a lesson I learned, man. You know, you want to know what what your ranges, what your capabilities are. And the key thing about fighting is distance, understanding distance, and staying, for me anyway, staying centered. Yeah, when I used to spar back in the day, the begin early stages in my sparring experience, you gotta try this. You're just fighting. Throwing punches, kicks, whatever, from what you remember in the drills. Then there came a time where you just sit. Well, this is the very hard part where you going up against someone and you wait. You just sit there. And it's a very hard thing to do because you want to do something. You see the person moving, but how do you just stay where you are? I mean, obviously, you're not going to stand there and you wait for him to circle behind you. Of course, that ain't going to make no sense. But if the person's here and he circles, at least where you can see him, you don't have to move. You just wait, right? And then, if they move, then you just change your stance to face them. But you're still waiting. Again, you find something within you that wants to do something, kick it, move, get away, and then you just have to be, no, I'm gonna wait. Because I remember reading this, I think it was Book of Five Rings. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, what was
It's
it?
been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time since I read that, but they always said that when two masters meet up, nobody moves. According to, if I remember correctly, what I read, because the first person that moves loses. Because in any attack that you throw, you're vulnerable, right? So if you can sit and the person becomes impetuous and moves out, if I throw a jab, then I just open my ribs up. If the person can see that, he'll take advantage of that. But how many times can we sit there and wait for that to happen? Not too many times. I'm not even sure I can do that now. Back in the day I could, but now I'm like, it's been a while. No, I gotta move. No, but you keep doing that until you can. You don't care about getting hit. See, we don't want to get hit because it hurts. If you don't care, if you're present and don't care, you don't want to get hurt. Obviously, you don't want to get hurt, but it's a weird thing to say. But if you can stay and not care, all of a sudden you see everything. Nobody can move faster than you can see. It's the mind that gets boggled up and messes things up. Because the mind, I say the mind is like the that mother-in-law we hear of that nobody likes or gets along with, always interfering in your business. The mind has to mind its own business and stay out of things because when you're fighting, you don't have time to think. You're reacting. All your practice, all your training, your blocks, your punches, your jabs, your kicks, and all that. You've already trained that. You've already put that in the body. You've already done the drills to know what to do, slip, punch, whatever. This punch technique comes this way, you counter this way, you do that. You have that all down. You've already done all of that work, right? So now when you're training, you're blank, right? You're not thinking, even whatever stance that person takes, you don't, what freezes a lot of fighters up and makes them tentative because, oh, he's southpaw. That means, okay, his right hand's coming. He's going to do this with the right hand. Oh, he's standing this way. If he throws this, I'm going to do that. What if the guy throws a technique you're not expecting? Then you freeze. And we just need that. As a fighter, you need a split second to just have that person freeze and you land your strike. So you can't think it through, right? You just have to be and trust your body knows what to do. Your eye sees it and, do that. Oh, come, counter. Oh, snap. That's my form. You know what I mean? But a lot of times we're thinking, oh, he's standing this way. Okay, he's gonna push kick. He's gonna side kick. He throws a jab. Oh, he did a 1-2 before. He's gonna come with a hook. Okay, that means I gotta shift this. Yo, man, it's too much tinkering up in the brain, in the noggin up there, and it's slowing you down. You won't be able to react. You won't be able to feel. Now you're building up tension.
I have.
It's a very hard thing to grasp, but yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's how you were talking about because, like, I have this one incident because basically I want to like train my best, but there's a unconscious like thing in my mind, right? Because I don't want to use martial art to hurt people. That's the thing that I don't want to do. I love martial art for the expression of the animals, stuff like that. But I had this experience before that scares me a little, right? Because back in the day you have like a kung fu book, where it teaches you or talk about the iron fist and you keep punching, right? So my I condition my fist, as we all condition our forearm by something, right? So back in boarding school there was this classmate of mine. He came up with me like I froze. I was like, "What are you doing?" It was in culinary arts. I froze, right? And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was going like this. I got scared. I was like, I panicked, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, "Okay, so what he trying to do?" So in my mind, I thought I was gonna miss because I just want to scare him. So what ended up happening? I connected him, right, with his mouth. So what ended up happening? He started leaking, and he got 9 stitches. And
Wow.
I got scared. After that, I got scared. And my ex would say, "Don't do that ever again." So I haven't done like I got so scared of my fist that I haven't touched anything.
You're gonna use a palm strike, but that would have caused more damage. That would have caused more damage anyway. I'm being funny, man. Hey, if you don't use a fist, you can use a palm strike. So
Yeah. So how can you like release that since I have that in my subconscious if I don't want to hurt anyone anymore?
ah, I would say, but meditation, all of these blockages we have or setbacks we have, to overcome them we have to do meditation, and that's going deep inside. And when you go deep inside, you want to observe. This is what I learned. I'm still learning that, so once again I wouldn't say I'm qualified on that aspect, so you'd have to do your research. My disclaimer there. But it's all inside, right? So we have to go deep inside. How often do we introspectively go inside ourselves and process what's going on within ourselves, our heart, and who we are? Not that often, because half the time we are reacting to something else, and our society and our culture is designed that way to prevent us from going within. There's too many distractions, and there's for a reason for that. You know what I mean? Because when people in mass start going inside and understanding themselves better, you connect to the world you live in better. And certain things won't stress you out or influence you at all. You understand what I mean? So a lot of these answers we seek are inside within. We have to sit still. And I think that's where meditation comes into practice. If you want to get an answer to something, you sit down, meditate over it, and whatever, long enough times, and the answer will come. You know what I mean? But it's meditation is not you let the thoughts from it's not easy, but you let the thoughts come and go without engaging the thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You might be sitting there and all of a sudden some lady with a bikini is floating by. You just let it float by and leave it alone. You don't go, oh man, a bikini, wow, look at that and that and that. Nah, no, 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 no. That's how you get distracted, pull out of your meditative process. Or you're sitting there, oh man, I forgot to pay that bill, and oh goodness, what time is it? No, let it come and let it go. You remember to do it later. Thoughts, all kinds of, and the mind gets busy, tries to distract you from doing that because it wants to be in control. But when you meditate, you let in another part of you take over. And the mind is like, what about me, man? I got ideas. I've been the one who's been pampering you all this time. And then you have to go into the mind and figure out what the mind's doing. Because sometimes we create some obstacles in our minds, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like I was sharing with you earlier when I was thinking I wasn't good enough. I trained hard, very hard, relentlessly for a long period of time, but still back here, I wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? So I was creating that obstacle in front of me. It's not until a lot of times people were saying, you've been doing this for a long time, and do your compassion about teaching resonates, and you seem to convey things well. You can do this. I'm like, nah, man, I don't think so. I don't have patience. Well, when Sifu made me instructor, that's when I learned patience. I was not a patient person at all, actually. It took years for me to develop that trait and skill to be. It's there within us. It was there within me, but I didn't think I had it. I just thought I used to be impatient, yeah, but when you care about things, you develop the patience to, and it starts to blossom. Still got work to do though. I mean, I let you know right now. There's some things I'm like, not have time for this, and that's the bobo, the bovine scathology stuff. But but yeah, still a work in progress, sir. I'm still chiseling away at the rough edges.
Yes, sir. Wax on, wax off. Painting the picture.
Oh man, with that little blemish refused to come out, keep licking. Oh man, this thing ain't coming off. This, I'm waxing off and now being Karate Kid 5.
Woo.
He's using his elbows. This thing ain't coming off. Sensei, the blemish is still. I'm waxing on and waxing on. How about I vacuum on and vacuum off?
Oh, man. Woo. Uh,
Oh, anywho.
uh, thank you, man. Thank you. You as you no. What I like about this interview and what about I like about you, you have a tremendous uh depth of wisdom. Like, uh, that's that's pretty amazing. Like, where did this come from, man? Like, where all this like wisdom, experience, of course, but like, where?
Uh, all the hits and kicks I received over the years. Oh, I get the point. Don't duck when you see a punch coming from the direction in which you're ducking with. Write that down. I'll say, it's just talking to people, my parents, over the years. You pick up things from them. Your journey, listening to other people share their experiences and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have my moments.
As you were talking about, you're not good enough, right? And like I have that too. How did you overcome it? Like your fears, right? And how did you overcome it? Like, because I remember, I always watch. I'm the same as you, man. Like I will watch someone be good at like drawing like anime, but like, wow, I'm not good enough, right? Like drawing anime, and they'd be like, crap, and people be like, yeah, like your art is good, but I don't see it.
Well, I have this thing, right? When more than one person, or when at least three people tell you the same thing and they're three different people, you have to listen. It's the way the universe is talking to you, telling you stuff. So many times I had people, different people tell me, oh man, your stuff is good. At first, when you hear it, you don't, yeah, whatever, you're just blowing smoke up my behind, whatever, yeah, right, thanks. Uh huh. You try to make me feel good. But when you hear it from different people and you hear it enough times, you're like, and it's sincere. Like, gotta make sure, people who sincerely tell you, some people will just tell you stuff just to tell you stuff. That's how a lot of people get broken, get in trouble. Because, you know, someone's like, yo, Ed, man, you look like, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. They're like, man, you look like Bruce Lee, man. You're moving like Bruce Lee. And I think I'm Bruce Lee and go pick a fight and come back. Yeah, I'll take on there. I go to the bar. I'll take on five of y'all. Oh! I do the pose and get my tail whooped out. And hey, man, you lied to me, man. What are you talking about? No. But when you have different people sincere enough at different points of time tell you enough, then you start looking back. Maybe I have something, and you hear that enough, then the self doubt goes away. You start believing in yourself more. Like I said, there's a long time I didn't feel I was good enough. You know, but then again, you see some other people teaching him like, oh, he's teaching what? He sucks. Look at the way he does the job, and he has a. Now that's when you get obnoxious sometimes, And but there's some out there. There's some people out there, man. I remember a friend of mine called me. He was like, "Ed, man, I went over this place somewhere. I think someplace, and I saw this guy teaching. And he asked me, he's like, I haven't done martial arts in a long time, but the way he was teaching those people is wrong, man. You should go over there." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." Oh, yeah, but yeah. Um, I think the key thing is just being humble. You know what I mean, and just do what you love. And if you're sincere, then if you're honest with yourself, right? You do the practice, you do what you need to do to get where you need to go, and you don't sham. We used to use that in sparring class. Has everybody been shamming today? That instead of putting the work in, people are like, yeah, I practice. Yeah, it looks like you didn't. Don't sham. But anyway, if you're sincere with yourself, you're honest with yourself, put the work in, it will happen. But what's funny about what we do, even in life, sometimes the efforts we put in whatever we want to accomplish, we don't see it right away. And I was listening to this guy. Um, I listen to a lot of people to draw inspiration from.
Who do if you don't mind me asking, who do you listen to? You say inspiration because
Everyone, I listen to everyone, but this guy stood out. Bruce Francis said something, right? Master Bruce Francis said something. He said, every time you practice, it's like a piece of paper, but those pieces of paper keep stacking up, and after a period of time, you have a book, and that's how practices go. You put the work in, you don't see it right away sometimes, you know. But if you honestly, I was in sales, right? And one thing I learned, well, from reading books as well, people like listen to Brian Tracy, and there was a book called by Frank Bettiger, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Sales, right? And all these self-help books, how to be better. Um, a lot of people focus on the goal, right? A lot of people focus on the goal, right? So I'm here, I want this, I want to get here. But no one focuses on the process. And that's where a lot of guys make mistakes. There's a five process, whatever it is to get to the goal. Then you do one, two, three, four, five. If you do those things correctly, you get to where you need to go. But people always focus on the end result. They might do one or two or three, and they want the end result. And when they don't get there, they're like, yo, it didn't happen. Why? Because you didn't follow the process. It's like baking a cake. The best way to put it is baking a cake, dude. Right? You don't have flour in there in that process in making the cake. You have something else. You don't have a cake. Right? You forget to put the sugar in there or the eggs. You do all that without the eggs and the sugar. You don't have a cake. You have something else. You put it in the oven. You're not getting the cake. You crack the eggs. You put the flour. You do the mix. Put the amount of sugar you need, whether it's 3 cups, you do that, you do what it says, you follow the steps, you go through the process, you get the end results. Boom, you got your cake. It took me a while to get that, right? So, you know you're supposed to do this, you do that. You know you're supposed to do that, you do that. If you consistently do those things, this will be the end. This is definitely what's going to happen.
That is beautiful.
So, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
But the thing is, now that you talk about Brian Tracy, I know about Brian Tracy.
Right.
I love his work, Maximum Achievement, and his other work, goal setting, goals. I have a couple of books of his. And when you talk about the universe, that means you know some stuff about the law of attraction or something. Because Brian Tracy do mention that, or because I think that because you talk about the universe, that somehow you hear like the universe is telling you. Do you believe that? Like what? Like how do you see that?
How could I say what the universe
Yeah, like the
tells
universe
you?
hears you or something like that is
Are
telling
we
you.
are we are we a part of the universe?
Yes,
Okay, so how do we know we're part of the universe? But it's you see, wow. There's some things that are seen and unseen, right? We know airs. We have air. Without air, you and I when we're talking, correct? So you see my hand here. I physically am doing that with my hand. I can still do it internally without moving. Yeah, my hand's here, it's not moving, but internally I'm moving it, right? So I'm saying that to say we're just a speck of the universe, which we are also in the grand picture of the universe, right? Certain things we do affect what's going on, and other things beyond our understanding affect us, right? But we always have questions. We have questions. How can I put this? We're always asking ourselves questions directly and indirectly as we go through a day or go through what we're trying to achieve. It's always a question and answer type situation. Right? If I want to be a better person, then the question is, how do I be a better person? What do I do to be a better person? So those questions are thrown out. I might not verbalize it, but internalize. I might think about it, or just go through the process of being a better person. But it's still answering that question, spoken or unspoken. Okay. How do I get an answer if I'm talking to myself? That I know, because there's a lot of things we know. There's a lot of things we don't know. Then there's a lot of things we know we don't think we know that we know. Right? You with me on that? But it's almost like that junkie room, and you're looking for that one toy that you forgot you threw in the corner, and there's all this clutter around. And he's like, man, there's all this clutter around. Let me clean up all this, put everything in its rightful place, and organize it. And boom! Oh wow, there's that thing, and you find it with all this resonance and all these things pulling at us. We're all part of the universe. We've already broadcasted the question out, right? Now we're waiting for the answer to come back because we're receivers, aren't we? But how do we have to be in the right frequency or the right tuning or the right state of being to get the answers. So this is why we have to be like the needle on the radio dial still. And the answer comes back to us. Just like dolphins, whatever, that's the say this high pitched sound and they get the bounce back I forgot what they call it, the echo, whatever, they send the echo out and it comes back and they get the signal back and they can navigate through the oceans or whatever. Same things with
So,
huh?
so, sonar.
Sonar, right. So we do that too, but in a different way. We broadcast, we're always broadcasting stuff out and things come back to us. But are we do we put ourselves still to get that information back? Most times we're not. We're on Facebook, on YouTube, checking this out, checking that out, getting worried about politics, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But if we can be still enough, just like that lake, and you toss that pebble in there and it sends that ripple. If it goes far enough, that ripple comes back. Well, usually we don't see the ripple coming back. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Yeah, that's a long answer, but yeah, I hope that answers it. I think. I hope.
Well, it seems like you very know about the universe a lot because in um, the the spiritual world, or that there's been this mainstream, the secret, or the vibrations frequency. They talk about that a lot with where energy we put out energy and come back like that, right? All tradition, all the religions, all talk about that. Even it go way back. But I like that. I like that analogy. And
But nobody
also,
wants to address that though.
hmm,
Nobody
mm,
wants. Well, few people do. Um, think about it. Society does not want people to be spiritual. That's why we have so many porn sites all over the damn place. Because if we're spiritually in tune, then you're dealing with different type of human beings. And I said this to a friend once. If everyone was spiritually in tune, then we will not need governments. We would not need boundaries either. But there's some people who understand that and know the power of that and try and deprive it of from the rest of the people so they can manipulate their greed and feed their greed. And but it's changing, I think, because there's a different type of frequency in the air, man. Something's going on. A lot of people are searching. A lot of people are searching for answers for a better. At least a bunch of us are. I can't speak for too many people. Let me make that clear. Because some people got issues, man. So, but yeah, but if we the level-headed ones of us, if we can lead by example, that's a rippling effect in itself. Being sync, and I think the key thing is the more we're in sync with nature, or in harmony with nature, we in turn in harmony with the universe. I don't know why that keeps coming up, but it just keeps coming. But it's very interesting. Um, when I realized that, I was like, wow. I think I saw a video once, and they were showing the different sizes of stars, of which there's a star so many times bigger than the sun. I couldn't even fathom it. And I saw the video. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, then I found out also that the planets affect you. I don't know where I've read this, but they said the day you were born, your helix, you know what I'm talking about, your DNA helix, the spiral of your DNA, how it's set up. My disclaimer, I've been known to be wrong, sir, so don't hold me to this, folks. But they said the day you're born, the alignments of the planets, your helix is synced that way. Can I say no? Why not? If all the planets have a magnetic pull on each other, then that supports that, right? Because we're also electromagnetic beings. A lot of times they use magnets to help heal injuries, as you know, right? So you have, and well, case in point, the moon affects us here on the planet. When there's a full moon, believe it or not, the crazies come out. I've seen it. I've seen it. All I'm gonna say. The first time I heard it, I was like, "Man, get out of here with that." But then I was paying attention. I'm like, you know what? Something about the full moon makes people. Some people act crazy. But it affects women, as you know, right? The cycle of the moon also affects them. So you think about that, and if the moon has an effect on them, what's Mars doing? What's Jupiter doing? That's it's crazy, man. We all part of the universe. All those things affect us. So when I heard that, I was like, that's wow. But yeah, that's why we don't want to. The whole universal laws. We don't want to. What's the word? We don't want to break them or go against those laws because we'll be in trouble. That's what karma does. Comes back and kicks you in the behind. So you better be good, for goodness sake. You better watch out. I think that's what they were saying in that Christmas song. Really, forget the Santa Claus part. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey, martial art wise. It's I'm still on it, and what I've realized and observed is that it's something that we have to put in a day to day, right? So if you practice horse stance, when you stand in line, you practice your horse stance. You don't need to sit that low and everybody looks at you. What is you? You okay there, buddy? But the same energy, the same energy, the same energy that you manifest through the practice. You can stand with your feet together, holding up your groceries, and still try and do that. That's what I try and do now. I still, if I'm moving stuff, I'll open up my hand, I might do my butterfly palm or something on my crane, and I look around and make sure I hope nobody sees me so they think I'm crazy. Because sometimes I forget myself and I'll be doing hand movements and stuff like that. So I'm on the phone. So sorry about that. So I'll walk around and do hand movements, and I forget myself. Oh yeah, I'm in public. Yeah, I don't want them to commit me anytime soon and think I'm crazy or
um,
you know.
yeah, what you said is so true. Like about society, about how they program your mind to think the way like they want you to think, especially the news. But I like it. I like how we vibe already. What does success look like to you? Has it changed over the years?
Say that again.
What does success look like to you? Has it changed over the years?
What does success look to me? Has it changed over the years?
Yeah.
Ah, I'm going through the process to get there, right? So for me, success now is being a family man, really, with the children. But then that's there now. I have to go beyond what I'm doing now and make sure it happens. So I have something to provide for them as far as education and all that stuff. Give them what my parents gave me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to monetize it. Yeah, I want to be rich, man. But but you know, I'm going through the process. If I do things right, if things happen, if I do the correct things that I'm doing, and I'm passionate, I'm a sincere person. So I believe, I always believed in merit. You know what I mean? If you do things right, you get the rewards. You don't shortchange anyone. You don't, one of my key big things I'm a big advocate of is integrity. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to sell anybody short or be a con man or even have that related to what I do, you know. But I believe if there's integrity, you bring value to whatever you do and you're passionate about it, then and do the right things, everything will fall in place. You know what I mean? But one of my biggest things is integrity, yeah. Yeah.
You're a pretty cool guy. You're a pretty cool guy. I love that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Oh, a lot of people probably be like, "Wow," but because a lot of people used to see this aggressive, angry-looking fellow. You know. By the way, I have him tied up in the corner right now, so I'm like, "Shut up." You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Because I had to clean up for this thing here. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, you need to shave, Ed. Clean up, man. You're having an interview. You gotta s- smooth it out, and be ready. But yeah. But you know what it is though. If you're not, I learned this in sales, right? If you're not sincere and honest, people can sense that. People can sense that when you're giving them the bobo. Some people like to be lied to. Other people, yeah, believe it or not, some people love to be lied to. They want you to lie to them. Don't tell them the truth, right? But other people, you sell them some bobo, they be like, hold up a second, I'll be back," and not talk to you again because you try to sell them, a kind of tinfoil coins, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I've seen it, and I'm like, that won't be me. I tell it as it is, Maybe sometimes when you give the medicine, you want to water it down. Some people can't take it too harshly. That's one of the things I'm learning is get the dimmer switch, and not, sometimes if you, well, my immediate family would think that I'm too brazen, you know. So, you there? Hello? Can you see me? Are we still on? Guys, get ready for bed, please. Actually, it's 11:20. Let's change that to go to bed. You guys have been playing video games all day. And you were making noise when I told you not to make noise on my interview.